Critical justice failure. Innocent lives are being destroyed. Could you be next? In Canada, there is an escalating sense of alarm as citizens voice concerns over what many perceive to be a critical failure in the justice system, particularly regarding community safety. The federal government is under scrutiny for its apparent inability to fulfill its most fundamental duty, ensuring the safety and well-being of its citizens. This pressing issue has gained significant traction, especially through the efforts of passionate advocates like MP Larry Brock, who is leading a national campaign aimed at repealing the principle of restraint embedded in Bill C-75. This legislation, introduced by the Liberal government, is increasingly viewed by critics as having created a dangerous revolving door for violent offenders, thereby putting public safety at serious risk. The crime statistics in Canada paint a troubling picture, leaving many citizens feeling increasingly vulnerable in their own communities. Since the implementation of Bill C-75, there has been a marked increase in violent crime, which has left families questioning their safety and security. Innocent lives have been lost, and countless others have suffered at the hands of repeat offenders who, critics argue, should never have been granted bail in the first place. This alarming situation raises urgent questions about how the justice system balances the rights of offenders with the imperative to protect victims, prompting many to ponder. Could you be next? One of the most compelling voices in this conversation is Kate Alexander, a survivor of attempted murder. Her harrowing experience illustrates the severe consequences of a justice system that many believe has fundamentally failed to protect its most vulnerable citizens. After her abuser, despite a documented history of violence, was released on bail for a mere $500, Alexander felt compelled to flee Canada, fearing for her life. Her story is not an isolated incident, but rather a reflection of a systemic issue that is impacting lives across the nation, particularly for women and children who often find themselves at heightened risk in domestic violence situations. This serves as a sobering reminder of the urgent need for reform. This crisis is further complicated by a judicial system that, in certain regions, appears to be releasing repeat violent offenders without imposing sufficient conditions to ensure public safety. Critics argue that this practice sends a dangerous message that the rights of offenders are being prioritized over the safety of the community. Such leniency creates an environment where offenders may feel emboldened to reoffend, knowing that the consequences they face are minimal, if any. This not only endangers victims, but also erodes public trust in the justice system, leading to a growing sense of frustration and helplessness among citizens who feel that their safety is being compromised. Larry Brock's petition aims to gather 1 million signatures, which would make it one of the largest petitions ever submitted to the House of Commons. His message is stark and clear. Canadians deserve a justice system that prioritizes their safety and well-being. This effort is intended to compel the government to take immediate legislative action to repeal the dangerous bail measures established under Bill C-75. Brock's motivation is not rooted in political gain, but rather in a genuine desire to see real change that protects victims and prevents further tragedies from occurring. His commitment reflects a broader sentiment that the justice system must be reformed to meet the needs of the public it is meant to serve. Despite the urgency of this pressing issue, the government has faced criticism for its slow response and vague promises of reform. Many believe that the Liberal government has consistently ignored the concerns raised by various stakeholders, including law enforcement, advocacy groups, and citizens who are demanding action. This continued inaction raises legitimate concerns about the government's commitment to addressing the safety of its citizens and whether it truly grasps the gravity of the situation. As incidents of violence continue to make headlines, the public is left wondering why decisive action has not been taken to prevent further tragedies. Recent reforms to the bail system, aimed at addressing intimate partner violence and repeat offenders, have been met with skepticism from many quarters. Critics argue that while new protocols may exist on paper, they lack the necessary enforcement mechanisms to provide real protection for victims. The fear remains that without significant changes, the system will continue to prioritize the rights of offenders over the well-being of those who have already suffered. Many advocates call for a more robust approach that includes not just punitive measures for offenders, but also comprehensive support systems for survivors, ensuring that they have access to the resources they need to rebuild their lives. The discourse surrounding public safety in Canada has the potential to unite people across the political spectrum. Community safety is a universal concern that transcends party lines and requires collective action. It is imperative for Canadians to engage in this vital dialogue and advocate for a justice system that holds offenders accountable while genuinely supporting victims. The stakes are high, and the need for immediate action has never been more urgent. By coming together, communities can amplify their voices and demand the change that is so desperately needed. Canadians are encouraged to take action by signing petitions, contacting their members of parliament, and supporting organizations that champion the rights of victims. The goal is to create a justice system that not only acknowledges the rights of offenders, but also prioritizes the safety and dignity of all citizens. The urgency of this issue cannot be overstated. It is about more than just policy reform. It's about saving lives and ensuring that no one else has to endure the trauma that so many have faced. Each signature on a petition, each call to a representative, and each conversation about these issues can contribute to a movement for meaningful change. As the conversation unfolds, it's vital for individuals to stay informed and engaged. The consequences of a failing justice system go beyond mere statistics. They affect real lives and communities. Victims like Kate Alexander serve as a rallying cry for Canadians to demand change. The system must evolve to fulfill its primary purpose, protecting citizens while delivering justice. This requires not just legislative reform, but a cultural shift in how we view justice and support for victims. In an era of waning public trust in the justice system, Canadians must raise their voices and demand accountability. Community safety should be a collective responsibility that unites us. Reform is not merely about legal changes. It's about fostering a society where victims feel secure and offenders are held accountable. Each of us has a role in advocating for a system that prioritizes safety and ensures no one lives in fear of violence. The path forward demands courage, commitment, and a willingness to listen from both citizens and lawmakers. It is time to advocate for a justice system that genuinely serves the people. Ultimately, the question remains, could you be next? Our collective action is essential for creating a safer society where victims' rights are upheld and justice is accessible to all.